my channel. Today we are here with another foundation review. I have so many foundations on my vanity waiting to be reviewed, and it was hard for me up until 2 days ago to pick which one I was going to do next. But I've had like 3 specific people ask for this foundation specifically. So today we're going to be reviewing the Hourglass Vanish Foundation Stick. This is not necessarily a new product, and this is not something that you cannot find umpteen million reviews on YouTube. So definitely, like, it's not something that you don't probably already know how it works on other people, but we are here to see how it works on me and for me to give you my thoughts. So this foundation does retail for $46 and it has 0.25 ounces, which a lot of people at the very beginning were like, 0.25 ounces? Oh my goodness. Because we're used to liquid foundations that have an ounce in them. So of course, when you see something that's a quarter of the size of what we're used to and it's $46, you're going to be like, hold up. Okay, so when you put this next to other foundation sticks and compare the sizes and prices, which y'all know I have because that's what I do, you will see that it's pretty on par with size. Now, I wouldn't say necessarily with price, but with size. For instance, I wrote down all those sticks that I can think of and that probably y'all can think of. The Makeup Forever, $43 for 0.44 ounces, 12.5 grams. Okay, so it has 0.44 ounces. It's the most product of any of the sticks I came across. It still equals $97 per ounce. Okay, that's what's going to tell you, I think, the most about the price per amount of products that you're getting is the per ounce price. So the Makeup Forever is $97 per ounce. The Hourglass, this comes out to $184 per ounce, which is, again, I'm not expecting it to be an ounce because it's a stick foundation, but it's still a hard pill to swallow because that's a lot of money. $46 is a lot of money. Anastasia Beverly Hills, by far the cheapest. It's $78 per ounce. It is only $25 for the whole stick, and it comes in 0.32 ounces, so still more than this and almost half the price. Bobbi Brown is pretty up there, $148 per ounce. It's $46 for 0.31 ounces. The Lancome stick is again 0.31 ounces, $42 at $135 per ounce. And the Shiseido makeup stick is $38.50 for 0.38 ounces, which comes out to $101 per ounce. So the cheapest out of all of those is the Anastasia at $78 and the Makeup Forever at $97. All the rest come over $100, this by far being the most expensive at $184 per ounce. Now, it does come in this triangle packaging. I talk more about that in the demo. I am in the color Nude. Again, I talk about color selection in the demo. This claims to be a medium to high coverage foundation with a concealer coverage, or coverage of a concealer, the fluidity of a liquid, and the finish of a powder. So we're going to see in the demo if I think all those claims are true or not. It also claims to, funnily enough, have, is that a word, funnily? Funny enough. It claims to have a matte, radiant, and natural finish. Talk about that in the demo too, because those are all kind of different. It says it adjusts your own body temperature to blend into your skin, which don't all foundations do that? I mean, all foundations react to your body temperature and then blend into your skin somehow. So I don't really know if I believe in the technology of that, but it is a claim of the foundation. Now it gives on the Sephora app this like study that they did in a 1-week consumer study. It was reported 100%, 90%, 90. Okay, but it was a study of 31 women. And I can't even take results like that seriously. That's just not enough for me. So I'm not even going to go over, that was my mirror, sorry, the results of that, but it is on the Sephora app under the foundation if you're curious. This does come in 26 shades, which is very impressive in my opinion to have that wide of a range, especially for a stick foundation. And again, I'm in the color Nude, which is described on the site as a light to medium shade with a neutral undertone. So just for reference, if you're new to my channel, I have normal skin. It's a little bit drier this time of year, but I'm not experiencing any dry patches right now. So let's just cut into the demo and see how this foundation works for me. Okay, so I've already applied my primer and a little bit of color corrector under my eyes. Now for stick and cream foundations in general, I most of the time don't like to use real silicone like type or feel of primers like my YSL Touche Éclat and like the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. Those kind that are really almost gel-like. I feel like they kind of make the cream slip a little too much. So today I use the Dior Skin Forever and Everwear Base Tint makeup primer, and this is just a very lotiony type primer, but it does have a lot of stick to it, so it does leave your face kind of tacky and ready for makeup. So we are just going to jump right in. I don't really have any problems right now that I'm trying to necessarily cover up. In fact, my redness is pretty much even at an all-time low. I'm not really sure why, but I'm not going to complain about it. So we are just going to go right in with the stick. So just put it up a little bit. I'm sure I've already said this in the intro, but I'm in the color Nude. I think technically I'm really in like warm ivory, but they didn't have that when I purchased this, so I went for the next best thing. But I am in warm ivory in the Hourglass Illusion, and then golden for the summertime. So this works, though. This is more of a neutral color. So I'm just going to take 1, 2, 3 stripes down this cheek, 1, 2 stripes on the forehead, 1 stripe down the nose, 1 stripe down the chin, because I just want to do this one side first, a little bit closer, so you can see where I've applied it. Now, right off the bat, before I even blend it in, I don't know if you're going to see this, like pore city right there. Can you see that? Look at those pores. Ooh, wee. All right, so we're going to see if that stays that way once I blend it out. Rarely with cream foundations and stick foundations do I use a beauty blender. I much prefer a brush, so I'm going to go in with my Makeup Geek Face Buffer Brush. I know y'all are so surprised. And I'm just going to start stippling that in first, and then I'm going to buff it. I want to press the color in before I buff, or else I'm just going to buff the color away. I don't know if I've said in the intro either, but sorry about the chainsaws in the background. We're getting a fence. Okay, so just like that, it's buffed in. It's pretty fast, huh? So, I don't know, I don't even really know if you're going to be able to tell that much of a difference. My pores are definitely look the same. See if you can focus. The lighting's not that great. They look the same over here as they do over there. Now, granted, I didn't use a pore filling primer, but I think you might need one with this foundation. It is a little bit streaky on my nose, but that just, my nose just doesn't hold foundation well. And I know that my nose is not the only one that does that. So it says that it has a fluidity of a liquid. I would have to agree with that. It buffed in and stippled in pretty flawlessly, and you saw how small amount of a time it took for me to get it buffed in. I mean, I feel like I have to work a lot of times more with my liquid foundations than I did for that. So A+ for the fluidity. I have to 150% agree with that part of the claims. Sorry. Now it says it has the coverage of the concealer. I already established I didn't have too much redness to cover today, so it's hard to say, but I will say it is a solid medium to full foundation. Now I have had some extra high redness at some times when I've worn this, and I have been able to build it up. So I do find that it's buildable. Now it claims that it has a powder finish. It is still a tad tacky. That could indeed be my primer that I had mentioned, but I don't think it has set completely to a powder finish. I know some people have claimed that they can wear this without setting it. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. I do not recommend not setting a foundation, especially a cream foundation, because regardless of the formula, creams will move faster than liquids, and I just think it's imperative to set it. So I can't necessarily recommend that you don't set it, and I'm definitely going to. So it's going to be hard to say whether it technically has the powder finish that it claims, but right now it still feels a tad tacky. So I'm going to do the other side real quick. I don't really know if there's any benefit to this triangle shape. You know, it says that it's so that it can get into tiny crevices better. And I mean, I guess it can stick into your nose and stuff, but that's what my brush is for. So I'm not really, I don't know, that didn't sell me. I guess it was a marketing ploy too, but it just wasn't like, I didn't see the shape of it and be like, oh, that's why I'm gonna try that foundation. I could care less really if it was in the standard circle bullet that most cream stick foundations are. But some people are dead set on innovative stuff like that, so. Okay, so quite honestly, I don't own another foundation that goes on that easily. I will give lots of props for that because it is so easy to blend out. There's no streaks, like whatsoever, which is always a plus. I turned my ISO down a little bit. I felt like it was a little bright. But if you can see, it gives, I would say it does give more of a satin finish than it does a matte. It claims to have a satin matte, but you can still see a little bit of a luminosity. And I'm just blending this because this is in my hand. I don't know what else to do with it. It doesn't need extra blending. It's funny because it says it has a matte, but then it says it has a radiant and natural finish as well. I don't think you can have both, and I think it leans more towards the radiant natural finish. So I do think that. Again, my pores are not hidden whatsoever, but we are going to see how this works under other makeup, and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so I put all my makeup on top of the foundation, and I did use the Milk matte bronzer, the cream bronzer. So I did apply that over the top, and I specifically picked the cream version because I wanted to see how creams would apply over these or over this foundation, and it applied fine. Didn't take anything off. My pores look a little bit better. I did use the By Terry Hydro Powder, which really does a lot for my pores. I don't know, they're just not as noticeable once I get the powder on, but we're gonna see how that like holds up throughout the day. But you just can't see it as much as when I just used the foundation. So, main things I'm gonna be looking for today are, does this sink into my fine lines, specifically my smile lines? Honestly, I think it's going to, because I've worn it before and I think it did, and it's already starting to a little bit, and literally I've had it on 10 minutes. So we're going to see about that. We're going to see the wear time. It's currently 10:15. I do have some clients this afternoon and I am going to the gym. So you'll be able to see how it holds up through work and working out. So I will check back with you later. So like I said earlier, my day consisted of working, had some clients, I went to the gym, and then I went to the store. And it was like raining when I went to the store, but it was that really annoying misty rain where if you use an umbrella, you look like a diva. And if you don't use an umbrella, no matter which direction you are walking, the mist just like envelops your face. And if you try to turn around and go this way, which really, what's the point of turning around if you're trying to go in the store, but I'm tired. It doesn't matter which way you turn. The mist is in your face, okay? So I have had water in my face too. So that's my day. And that's what this foundation has been put through for the past 10.5 hours. Okay, so I'm gonna do a close-up for you. Don't pay attention to any mascara flakes. It is not the mascara's fault. If I'm just kind of sitting around, I tend to pick at my lashes. Luckily, the only thing that comes off is mascara and not my actual lashes, but it's just a habit I can't break. Okay. There is some smile lines sinking going on. I had said that I figured as much. It is pretty caked up right here. I know this is always your favorite pose I do, but I'm really trying to show you. Right around here, it's pretty caked up. My nose is a little red right there, meaning, and I haven't really been wiping it, but there's just really not that much foundation right there or right there. And it's a little bit cakey right there in the crevice of my nose. So my nose just didn't really fare well today. The smile lines aren't as bad to where I felt like I needed to touch them up throughout the day, but I feel like they're more visible and pronounced than they are with a lot of my other foundations. So that's why I'm saying that it's a more of a no-go on that. I am not liking my under eyes today. All right, I see foundation on my face. Like I see it setting on my face. My pores, they're okay. I mean, they're not as, let's see if you can see. I don't know, this lighting's so bad, so late. I don't know if you can see, but they're not as bad as I thought they would be when I first saw it. It's kind of coming off on my forehead right there, and it's just a little bit patchy. So when I look in the mirror from like right here, say I go to the restroom or something, I look in the mirror and I'm this far away. I'm like, oh, this doesn't look bad. But it's just not a good up close foundation for me personally. I know some people like this is their it. Like this is the foundation they could have. If they could only have one, this would be it. And I think that's great. For me, I see it sitting on my skin and it just accentuates things a little bit more than I wish for it to. It doesn't blend in as much as it claims to with my, skin technology where it's supposed to meld into my skin, sense my technology, and blend in accordingly. I don't feel like it's doing that. I mean, as far as like the coverage, other than the patchiness on my forehead and my nose and the cakiness around here, I don't feel like it's worn off any. I just feel like the longer I wore it, the cakier it looked. So I don't know. And another thing I do want to point out, I hope that you can see this. Can you see how much has been used? Okay. This was the 4th time I have used this foundation, and that's how much has been used, which is kind of like, oh well, that's not that bad. But this is all there is. Yeah, that's all there is. So when you compare to what there is in the actual stick versus what I've used already, I just feel like if I were to use this every day, it would last me like maybe 5 or 6 weeks tops. And it's really expensive for that. I mean, we all know I don't use this every day. I have lots to choose from. But if I did, I mean, not everybody is a foundation fanatic like me, and they don't buy a ton of foundations. They rotate through 1 or 2. Sometimes they only have 1. And I just feel like if this is your only one, it's going to not last you that long. I don't know. I can't speak for, do I think this is going to be better for dry or oily skin? Most stick foundations are better suited for dry skin. I don't know that I would think this is, because I feel like it would cake up more on dry skin. But then again, I don't think from the patchiness I'm seeing that it would hold up very well on oily skin. So I don't know. I can't answer that question. I haven't tried it on any clients. I don't think I'm going to try it on any clients. I will say, final verdict, I like my Anastasia Beverly Hills stick better. I don't hate this. I don't hate it. I just don't think that it's necessary to spend $46 on it. If you're wanting to try an Hourglass foundation, by all means, try the Hourglass Illusion Skin Tint. Fabulous. And if you're wanting to try a stick foundation, I just like the Anastasia better. Some people hate that one. I don't get it, but I love it, and it's half the price. So that's my final verdict on this. Don't hate it. Not going to be in my top 5 anytime soon, and I'm not like overly excited to reach for it. I'm going to use it because it was $46, but I just don't think that you should feel obligated to buy it because there's so much hype wrapped around it. And I know sometimes it's hard to get sucked in or to not get sucked in when, every YouTube video you see is people like, oh, this is it, this is holy grail, this is so good. It's so hard not to be like, oh my goodness, it's worked for everybody on the tube. Of course it's going to work for me. So, and I get that. I'm trying to save you 46 bucks. And I feel like if you're going to spend it, like, I don't know. If it were me, I would just say spend it elsewhere. I know there are some of you watching who are going to comment, I can't believe you don't like this. It's my favorite foundation. And I love that it's your favorite foundation. I cannot stress this enough. Every time I do a review, I'm so glad if this works out for you. My reviews are just how it works for me. That's how it works for me. And I'm going to stop blabbing. Hopefully that answered all your questions. I have lots, like I said earlier, lots of foundations sitting on my vanity waiting for a review. I think right now I have like 6 that I haven't reviewed yet. So be on the lookout for that, I think I'm going to do a couple concealer reviews too. All right, I don't know why I'm talking so much. I'm going to let you go. Thanks so much for watching. As always, subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any future videos. And as always, have a very blessed day.